So first of all, what is BODS? Why we need BODS? So if I can say, so BODS is an ETL tool. So with this ETL tool, we can extract the data from different sources and transform the data as per the business requirement and load the data into different target systems. Here I said like source system and target system. Source system might be Oracle, MySQL, SQL, SAP, it could be anything. So, and we are loading the data into particular target system. Even target system also like SQL, Oracle,
Kumar, sorry.
MySQL.
Hello, Kumar, excuse me. Sorry for the interrupt. Are you sharing anything?
No, I'm not sharing. I'll share in something.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
I'm giving brief about BODS.
Sure. Okay.
So like, yeah. So we can load the data into respect to, particular target system. So target system might be any of the system, either SAP application or database systems, anything. So I can say why we need to go with BODS. So why not some other tool? In market, we have different ETL tools. So BODS is an SAP recommended. So it is an SAP tool. So in SAP, we have different modules, over 200 plus modules. So like material, FICO, ABAP, this kind of SD, and these kind of modules. Here, if I speak about a particular module, material master, so here they have their own data. So that data will be in some kind of source systems. That data we need to migrate from source system to SAP system. So in that case, we are using the intermediary tool BODS to perform the different kind of transformations, different kind of mapping rules. We can apply different kind of I can say business rules, and we can convert the data from source. So we can extract the data from source, we can convert the data, and we can load the data into a target system. For this purpose, we are using BODS tool. We can say BODS tool as ETL tool as well. So ETL is, I told right, ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading. So that's why it is called as ETL tool. So as I told, in market we have a number of ETL tools. So I can say SSIS, Informatica, BODS, Teradata, blah 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 tools are there. So now I would like to show you something. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. So you're able to see my screen, right? So this is the screen, how BODS look like. So I can say here, so if I tell about this kind of space, this is the data stores, how we are connecting database to BODS tool. So with this help of data stores, we are connecting the source system, and I can say with this data stores, we are connecting the target systems as well. So this is the data store which is connecting BODS and different type of source systems as well as target systems. So now I would like to explain something about architecture. So what is BODS architecture? So we can call BODS as SAP Data Service as well. So data services. So in the older version, in the sense like 10-15 years back, so it is from data integration options and data quality options separately, like individual tools. So after certain time, so BO company has acquired these two tools, and they made it as SAP, sorry, BODI and BODK tool. So BODI is for data integration transforms, BODQ is for data quality transforms. So after some more time, SAP purchased BO and they renamed it as BODS by integrating those two tools. they can make those two tools into one environment. So then they renamed it to BODS. So BODS, then it comes under SAP BODS. So BODS is Business Objects Data Services. So Business Objects Data Services, in the sense like it can deal with the different type of source data, and it can be useful for extracting the data from different sources, transforming the data in BODS, and load the data into different sources. I can say nowadays, if someone working on SAP applications by using the BODS tool, I mean to say extracting the data from SAP, which is either lower versions, and loading the data into SAP, which is higher version. So we can call it as data migration. So who are working on data migration, I can say those people are hotcake in the market. So very, very, very good opportunities for data migration persons, along with data integration and BODA. So only integration, in the sense we are migrating the data to database like SQL database, MySQL, these kind of databases. So if you are loading the data into this kind of application, we can call it as data integrator. And if you are loading it to SAP application, we can call it as data migration. So now I would like to explain something about data BODS designer. So this is the architecture. So BODS architecture, it contains 3-layer architecture. So one is user interface architecture and database server layer. Sorry, so user interface layer, database server layer, and so platform layer. So these 3 are the layers. In user interface layer, we can see the BODS designer, management console, information steward, and central management console, CMC. So here, management console and BODS designer, these two are comes under BODS. So BODS is the designer. It is an client tool. We can install that in our local PC. And management console is a web-based application. Through URL, we can open this management console. So those two are laid on same database. Those two are laid on same interface. But one is web-based application. One is client-based application. So BODS designer, it is a client-based application where we can develop all set of our codes. So in BODS, in generally in Java, .NET C, where we used to call it as programs, we are creating the programs. But when we are coming into the data services, BODS, Business Object Data Services, so there are certain type of naming conventions we have, the terminology, naming terminology. There we are calling the job. There we are calling the program as job. So job, in the sense, not an IT job. So we can say job. Job in BODS means, so like in Java, .NET, it is program. Here it is job. So we can create that jobs. It means to say like programs in designer, BODS designer, that we can execute in BODS designer or as management console tool as well. So if you install BODS, SAP BODS package, in that package, you can get 7 kind of tools. 7 kind of tools. One is BODS designer, and second one is BODS management console. Third one is repository manager. Fourth one is server manager. Fifth one is data services workbench. Sixth one is locale selector, and seventh one is language selector. So these are the different tools which comes under BODS package, SAP BODS package. So in these 7 tools, those are interlinked, I can say. So if you want to run BODS designer, in BODS designer, that should be laid on one database, where so we need to perform all our transformations, everything, and our metadata should load in some kind of database. So for that purpose, we are using repository manager. So repository is nothing but it is kind of a connection to the database. So all our metadata will can store in that repository. So what and all the developer are developing the objects, that and all stored in repository. So with the help of repository, we can create different type of repositories that will be connected to the BODS. So likewise, if I want to run any job, I mean to say program, so we need servers. So with the server manager, we can so create different type of servers to execute these jobs. Likewise, management console is to execute the created jobs in data services. Without the data services help, we can execute at the management console. So likewise, all the tools are interlinked tool which will support BODS designer performance, BODS designer. So I can say at user interface level, we have, I can say this is the GUI where the user developing his object, his jobs, his programs, that and all comes under user interface layer. As I told, database layer. So database layer, it comes as a repository, BODS repositories. So these repositories, this is connection to the data services designer. Here, our metadata. So what we are designing, that will store over here. And platform layer. Here, I told servers. Servers will create over here. So likewise, interface, it is a three-tier architecture. Those three tiers are interdependent. So one thing will depend on some other thing, other thing will depend on some other thing. So without any of these kind of interface, we cannot perform BODS. See, I can say, so these two are the tools. This is the designer tool. This is management console tool. These all comes under BODS. So in designer, we can design our jobs. With the management console help, we can execute the jobs. Even we can execute the jobs in designer as well and management console as well. So these two are laid on one database. That database is connected to one specific repository. So that comes under over here. And if we want to run that particular job, what we developed in designer, that will run based on certain kind of servers. Those servers will be connected to the repositories. Then only we can execute our BODS jobs. I can say, don't get confused about when I'm speaking about job. Job is nothing but a program in Java.NET like that. So you need to start learning some kind of terminologies. Those terminals are different from another coding languages and to here. So this is the a small set of architecture I can say about a BODS. Any one of you have any doubts as of now? So you can tell me, then I'll try to clarify here about architecture. Now I will show the data services designer, right? Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So 1 second, let me open data services. Got it. So anyone has any doubts or something like that related to the architecture of BODS? So if you have anything, so please raise your concern. So you all are able to see my screen, right? Hello. Hello. Are you able to hear me? I'm not getting any response from anyone.
No, Kumar. We are unable to see your screen.
Okay, okay, sorry. Let me reshare it again. So
Yeah,
now
now
you
you
are able to see
can.
my screen?
Yeah.
And till now you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, nice, nice. Thanks for the response. Okay. So as I told, this is the BODS designer. So this designer look like this. As I told, so here, so I can say, so we can divide this designer into three parts. One is project area, and second one is local object library, and third part is work area. So in the local object library, we have specific repository. As I told, repository means from here we are able to connect a different type of databases as well as sources. We can connect to any type of database, any type of the SAP application. So if we have the proper credentials, so then in generally in database Oracle and all, so we can write the SQL codes over there, right, in DBMS everywhere. So if we have the proper credential to connect to that system, then we can write all set of those kind of SQLs, everything in BODS. And so I can say, you can play with the data, so whatever you want. You can transform the data like anything. So if you have any business rules, so you can go ahead with the transformations. And likewise, you can load the data into respect to target system as well if you have the proper credentials to connect to that system. So with this repository, this is the repository. So local repository, we can call it as local repository. With this local repository, we are able to connect to the database. So I can say what and all the data we are fetching. So we can see that here, we can see only the metadata over here. Once you go over there into particular database, then you can see the full set of data. So yeah, I'm just showing you one example. This is the specific data store. This is a specific database which was connected to some database. So in that database, I have some table FF, TTFF skill something. In that data, I have in that table, I have some sample data. There's some small set of some line items of data. So that I can see here. I can say I can import the metadata into BODS. Then with this metadata, I can do different type of transformations. I can do different type of conversions, and I can derive some set of rule. I can derive some set of structure what business is requiring. Then with that structure, I can load the data into some different tables. Those and all happen with the help of a repository. So this is one kind of in architecture. This is one kind of layer. And second one, I told server. So if I can click on here, and we are able to see server, job server. So if I want to run any of these, then my job server should in active and it should be in running mode. So if it is not running, then I'll get the message over here saying that your job server is not working. Job server is another set of layer in our architecture, and the whole thing, this all comes under data services designer. This is GUI, I can say, user interface. We can build whatever the jobs we required. We can work, we can do whatever we want to do. That and all we can do over here. This is the user interface. So now, as I told, we have three-tier architecture. So I showed you BODS and I showed you repository. Don't consider all the things. This is Informatica tool, this is CMC, and you need to, if you are speaking about the data services designer, then we need to speak about BODS management console and BODS designer and BODS repository. So likewise, we have the servers, BODS servers. So these and all, these are the part. So that's why I explained in clear diagram over here. So these and all comes under BODS architecture. User interface layer, repository layer, we can call this as database server layer, and job server layer. So we can call this as server layer. This is just a brief about what is BODS.